I believe everyone has a story to tell. And I believe everyone deserves a little pampering. Welcome to Mannies with Grannies. I'm your host, Tiffany Marino. Join me while I sit down with a woman over 70 and get to know her while giving her a manicure. Welcome to this episode of Mannies with Grannies. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Ethel. Ethel, thank you so much for being here with me today. So I learned that Ethel is 82 years old and she lived in Russell and you had 4 kids. What are your kids' names?
Sandra, John, Michael, and Diane.
Were you married?
Yes.
What's your husband's name?
Dwayne. You want me to spell it for you? It's spelled D-U, capital W-A-Y-N-E.
That's different.
Yeah.
How did you and Dwayne meet?
At my father's gas station.
Your dad owned a gas station?
Yeah.
Was it in Russell?
No, Bruceburg.
Did you have to work at the gas station?
Sometimes. Not very often.
Did you and Dwayne date for a while before you got married?
For a little while. I met him at the roller rink in Russell. He worked for my father.
Did you have brothers and sisters growing up?
Mm-hmm. There was 8 of us. Can't tell you how many sisters and brothers. More sisters than brothers. 2 brothers.
What was it like growing up with so many siblings?
Well, there was never a dull moment. Our house was open and all the neighborhood gathered there.
Do you think that's something that your parents tried to do on purpose?
I don't know, really.
Do you think that they liked having an open house and all the neighborhood kids over?
Oh, yeah. Well, my father, my father wasn't there. My mother too. She owned a restaurant there in Russell.
Did you help work there?
Oh, yeah.
What was the restaurant called?
Louis. I think the man's name that owned it, his name was Louis. Well, that was the name of it when she bought it. But everybody down in that area, they really loved my mother. She was a very kind lady.
What was your mom's name?
Sylvia. It was just a regular restaurant. It was a hangout for the kids in Russell. My mother worked first across the street. There was a restaurant. Then that would come up for sale, and she bought it. And it was always, she never, ever, all the teenagers and that hung out there.
That's pretty amazing that your mom was able to purchase a restaurant herself.
Well, she worked before. And then my grandparents had some money, and they helped her.
How old were you when she bought the restaurant?
I was probably about 14, because I got married at 15.
And do you remember how you felt about your mom buying that restaurant?
No, because I knew she would, because she worked at that other one, and she always said, I want my own.
Did you feel proud of her?
Yes, very proud of my mother. And she always had time for us. If something came up, she took care of it.
Wow. With running the restaurant, she was still able to prioritize the kids.
Yep.
Sounds like she was a really good mom.
She was.
What was your mom like?
A good mom. Very good mom.
What do you think makes a good mom?
When they take good care of you. We didn't have a father there, so she had to do what a father did and seen that we had things.
Were your parents separated, or did your dad just work a lot?
No, they were separated. He left my mother. I was 10 years old when if she could have been able to stay home with us, I know she would. But she couldn't with the situation. It was my mother's best friend, and that was very hard.
I can't imagine. Oh, I'd be mad. I'd be mad for the rest of my life.
No, my mother never carried any grudges. Never.
I wonder how she learned to do that.
She had a sister, and that's all there was. It was more my grandfather with us kids.
What was your grandfather like?
He was a wonderful man. I don't know how to describe him, but he just was a kind, gentle man. And what happened between them two, I'll never know. But there had to have been a reason. Well, I know what. He went to live with my mother's best friend. That's how it went. But she was a very good mother. And my grandparents seen that we had what we needed. Wore many homemade clothes. Grandma sewed.
Do you remember getting your first store-bought clothes?
Even though we wore homemade, there was a place in Warren that we went to, and we bought clothes.
Did you still have a relationship with your dad then?
Oh, yeah. He came down where we lived. Yeah. And he supported us.
When you and Dwayne were making your own family, was it important for you that Dwayne was a big part of your kids' lives?
Yes. He was a big part of their life.
Tell me about what you loved about Dwayne.
He was a very, very gentle man. I know he loved me a lot. I know that.
What did the two of you like to do together?
Well, we roller skated and went to movies, the drive-in. Even after our first baby came,
You still made time for each other?
Oh, yeah. His mother was a very nice lady. She would babysit.
Did you graduate from high school?
No. I quit 10th grade. Got married.
How old were you when you had your first child?
15.
Wow. Can you remember what it felt like when you found out you were pregnant?
No, not really. We were excited, but we weren't married yet. And I had grandparents that were very good to us.
15 years old. Sounds young.
I don't know. We were married 52 years.
52 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels hard to be married. How did you get through hard times in your marriage?
We settled it before. We never went to bed mad at each other. We didn't argue a lot because he was a very quiet man. We're in a neighborhood where all the kids gathered at our house. My mother didn't mind it one bit.
What was your favorite part of being a mother?
Watching them grow up. Mm-hmm. Well, they're all grown up now. Now it's the grandchildren. I don't think it was hard because I came from a family of 9. I was used to doing things.
Did you work while the kids were young?
No, I helped my mother at a restaurant, but I didn't.
What about when you had kids?
No. My husband told me I wasn't going to work. He'd support me.
Did you ever get a job?
No.
Wow.
We owned our own business.
What was that?
A gas station.
Do you have any hidden talents?
No. All I can do is be good at children. I love children. I'm like their grandmother.
What do you love about kids?
Oh, the things we do together, and that's mostly what it is, what we do together.
Do you have any hobbies?
Crocheting.
Have you ever been on an airplane?
Yes.
What did you think about that?
I loved it.
Do you remember where you went?
California.
Wow, that's far.
That was my first airplane ride.
Where in California did you go?
Atwater. I had a daughter in the service. That's where she was stationed. Her and her husband. And I got to see my first grandchild born.
That's amazing. How did that feel?
Good. Really good.
So your kids' names were Sandra, John, Michael, and Diane. Do you remember how you came up with their names?
No, my husband picked their names out. I had nothing to do with that.
Did he want to pick the names out?
Yeah.
How was it decided that he got to pick the names?
Oh, we just talked about it, and we decided he wanted to do it. And he did.
You have beautiful rings that you're wearing. Can you tell me about your rings?
That is my engagement ring. And this was my wedding band, and then he got me this one on an anniversary. I don't remember which one.
Do you remember how you got engaged?
In a way, I do, because my mother had the restaurant, and we were at the restaurant, and then we decided to go somewhere. She stopped the car and proposed. I know a lot of people, oh, you were so young. I never felt that way. I just felt that I was a mother. Loved being a mother.
What was your wedding like?
There was just him and I and my mother. And he had a buddy and I had a girlfriend that stood up. We didn't go on a honeymoon or nothing.
What do you want young people to know about getting older?
I don't know, because I never even thought about when I was getting older. I mean, as I got older, but I was around older people too. Like, when I was growing up, we were at our grandparents' a lot. And they owned a store down in Venturetown, they call it, between Russell and Warren. If you know where Walmart is, they weren't too far from there.
So you were really surrounded by a lot of business owners, it sounds like.
Yeah, people were good to us, very good. My mother being a single mother, My dad did come home and see us. It wasn't that there was any,
Did he end up having another family?
He left my mother for my mother's best friend.
Oof.
So that's how it was. No, they never had children. They were older when they...
So did your mom lose her best friend in that also?
After that, they didn't have nothing to do with each other. But my mother was a person that never held a grudge.
Do you feel like you're the same way?
A lot.
I have a hard time with that.
You have to learn to forgive. Forgive and forget.
Would you like to pick a nail color?
That one's a pretty one. Yeah.
Okay.
I never wore makeup or anything till I got married.
What do you think is the key to a happy life?
A happy life? Love the people that not just my mother. I mean, you love your whole family.
How do you show people that you love them?
I talk to them. Sometimes I hug them, and it's according to the situation.
Thinking back over your life, do you have a favorite age, a favorite time of your life?
While I was going to school, and then when I met him.
52 years of marriage. I'm at 10 years. Do you have marriage advice for me?
Never go to bed mad at each other. That's the big thing. Never. You work it out before.
Why do you think that?
Because I think if you go to bed mad at each other, I don't know, how to explain that, but because I never had that problem. Oh, we had our ups and downs, but they were always solved before. Especially after you get children. That makes a big difference in your life. You're used to being the two of you, and then all of a sudden... And we didn't see him that much. He went to work at 7 in the morning, and he never come home till 11 o'clock at night. He was a hard worker.
Was that ever hard for you?
Not really, because I had the children. And I could go see him anytime I wanted to, because he worked for my mother. She told me once, I got the best husband of all the children. She told me that once. I've never forgot it.
What did hearing that mean to you?
It made me realize that she was a good mother and that she loved me.
I take it Dwayne isn't with us anymore.
No, he died 4 years ago.
Sorry to hear that. 52 years together is a really long time. And sometimes I think about losing my own husband, and it just seems unthinkable. How did you get through that time?
Well, he was sick a long time. And I will tell you, I would never wish him back because he was so sick. And he gave me such a good life, but I've never regretted it.
How did you decide to move to the Frewsburg Rest Home?
I knew about it. And when the time come that I felt like I couldn't take care of myself no more. And I always said I wouldn't live with my children. That was a decision. And I knew about the rest home here because I volunteered here. They're very nice people.
Why did you decide that you wouldn't live with any of your kids?
Because I didn't think it would be fair to them. I have a daughter that just lives up the road.
What's a good piece of advice that you've gotten?
To be kind. And like I say, when I was married, love is important in a marriage. To be able to talk, I will admit, we had disagreements like any normal couple.
We are at the end of our manicure. Is there anything else you want to talk about or tell me about today?
Well, I really like it here. It's a very nice home.
You feel like you made the right decision?
Well, working here before, volunteering, I loved the patients. I love the patients. They're very important. I think that if you're going to do a job like this, you have to love your patients because you've got all different personalities.
Yeah, and now it's come full circle for you, and now you're actually one of the patients.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you?
Good, because I chose this home. I checked out some other ones, and I decided, because I had volunteer, that this is where I want to be.
You knew it was the right one for you.
Yeah.
It's great. Ethel, it was really nice getting to know you today. Thank you for coming and sitting down with me.
Thank you for coming and talking to me.
Thank you for listening to Manny's with Grannies. I hope you enjoyed learning about someone else and maybe even learned a little about yourself.